Apple reports earnings after the bell, and the heat is on. All right, Stephanie, there's going to be undoubtedly some noise in the quarter. It's the second quarter. We have Tim Cook at the helm. The fourth quarter results were very disappointing, along with iPhone sales. What's the number one thing you're looking for?
Well, I think that we know that iPhone sales are going to be strong, probably stronger than expected, 28, 30 million kind of units. iPad is going to be the wild card to me, because that has been the one issue throughout the quarter that everyone's had question marks. We don't know if it's component shortages, weak demand, is it because everyone's waiting for the iPad 3? So that to me is going to be the big one, the numbers, and they're kind of all over the lot. 10 million to 14 million is kind of what I've seen. MacBooks pretty much in line, about 4.5, 5 million or so.
How important are iPad sales?
Well, they're very important. I think on the positive side, stronger iPhone sales helps margins. On the negative side, you know, iPad is very competitive marketplace right now, right? So you have to we kind of have to figure out what's really happening. What's the underlying demand? Is there cannibalization to the PC, to the laptop? You know, those kinds of things. So I think there are a lot of underlying question marks that. Again, we want to just get a feel for what's happening and what kind of growth opportunities the company has.
So what do you do with the stock if, say, the iPhone sales positive-wise are baked into the stock, but on the flip side, maybe negative iPad sales are not baked into the stock? What do you do? How do you operate?
So this is the thing. The stock has run up into the quarter. You know, there's this love-hate relationship going on with analysts and investors throughout this quarter. You know, it really sold off a month ago. Now it's near new highs. So you know, your risk-reward here is not so great. And guidance is going to be key. I think it should be pretty good, probably a little conservative. But you know, I think overall you got to get excited about the product cycle story. The product cycle story for 2012 is outstanding. You have an iPhone 5 coming, you've got the iPad 3, you've got this new potential TV product, the education market, MacBook refresh. So I think there's a lot to get excited about. The stock is cheap, but it could just sell the news. So wait for it to sell the news, and that's when you buy.
What about the derivative plays? Are these the smarter stocks, like a Verizon, AT&T, Broadcom, TriQuint, you name it? What about those stocks?
I think a lot of people are already in those names. I do like AT&T. I like Broadcom, but not at 34, 35 to be buying it in the low 30s. Qualcomm, I think, is over-owned and pretty much over-loved. Cirrus, I think, is interesting. All of these combined, I think that they're interesting to build a basket. If you want the Apple story, you build an AT&T for yield, you build Broadcom for growth, you build Apple because it's cheap with a great product cycle story.
All right, thanks, Stephanie. I really appreciate it. But the key going into Apple's earnings are going to be those iPad sales, and look for any sell-off to buy the stock.